The new year is just around the corner, and for millions of Americans, that means changes in Social Security benefits are coming. The good news is that by staying informed on a few key dates, you can better plan your finances and avoid surprises. In today's discussion, we'll highlight the essential Social Security dates for 2025, including when you can expect to see changes in your checks. Stick around for tips on how these updates might affect your budget and financial plans. So, let's start by talking about the first big date to circle on your calendar. On October 10, 2024, the Social Security Administration is going to officially announce the cost of living adjustment for 2025. This is often referred to as the COLA, and it's how the government makes sure your benefits keep pace with inflation. It's something that happens every year, and for a lot of retirees, it's one of the most anticipated updates. This year, analysts are predicting an increase of about 2.5%, which might not sound like a huge bump, especially compared to previous years, but even small adjustments can make a noticeable difference in your monthly check. And just so you know, the COLA is calculated based on inflation data from the third quarter of this year, so while we have estimates, the final number could change slightly. Now, what happens after that October announcement? Well, you're going to want to keep an eye out for December 2024. That's when the Social Security Administration will start sending out personalized COLA notices. These will let you know exactly how much you'll be receiving in 2025. If you've set up your My Social Security account online, you can check your notice even sooner, usually by mid-November, so if you haven't done that yet, it's a good idea to get that set up. You can also opt to get an alert through email or text when your notice is ready. And hey, for those of you who prefer paper notices, no worries, they'll be mailing those out, too. But remember, it's a huge task for them to send out millions of letters, so if you don't get it right away, don't panic. They ask that you wait until January before reaching out if your notice hasn't arrived yet. Okay, so here's where things get really exciting. January 2025 is when you'll actually start to see those new, higher benefits hit your account. Now, for most people, when in January depends on your birthday. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, your first check with the COLA will land on January 8th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and 20th, expect it on January 15th, and for those of you born between the 21st and 31st, your payment will come on January 22nd. However, if you've been receiving benefits since before May 1997, you'll get your check on January 3rd, regardless of your birth date. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, a quick note for those of you receiving Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, your check will actually arrive a little earlier. Since January 1st is a federal holiday, you'll get your payment on December 31st, 2024, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So then, once you know how much you'll be getting in 2025, that's a great time to sit down and review your budget. For some of you, these benefits are a significant part of your income, and getting a handle on how much extra you'll be getting each month can help you plan for things like rising living costs or even just give you some peace of mind about what's ahead. Also, it's important to remember that the COLA isn't applied directly to the check you get now. Instead, it's applied to your primary insurance amount, or PIA, which is the benefit you'd receive if you filed for Social Security at your full retirement age. Once they've adjusted that number, they calculate your new payment based on whether you started collecting benefits early or later. But if you're curious about what that looks like for you right now, you can add the COLA percentage to your current check to get a pretty good estimate. One thing that always comes up when we talk about COLA increases is how this affects your taxes. Depending on how much you receive from Social Security and other income sources, your benefits could be subject to federal income tax, and in some states, state taxes, too. So, it's worth checking in with a tax advisor to make sure you're prepared for any changes in that area. Now, speaking of changes, if you're planning to start collecting Social Security in 2025, there are a couple of things you should know. First, the amount of earnings needed to qualify for Social Security credits will go up. In 2024, you needed to earn about $6,920 to earn the maximum 4 credits for the year, and that number is likely to increase slightly for 2025. We'll get the official number when the COLA is announced in October, so stay tuned for that if you're close to meeting your credit requirements. So, what does all this mean for you? Well, whether you're already receiving benefits or planning to start, knowing these key dates and how the COLA affects your payments can make a big difference in how you plan your finances. It's always a good idea to stay informed and be proactive, whether it's setting up that My Social Security account, planning your budget for the year, or making sure your tax situation is all squared away. And if you've got any questions about how all this works, drop them in the comments below. I'm always here to help, and I'd love to hear how this year's COLA is impacting your plans. Let's keep the conversation going. So then, that's a wrap for today's talk about the important Social Security dates you need to know. I hope this was helpful and that you feel a little more confident about what's coming up. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated on more tips and insights about personal finance. See you next time.